It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and I tell you what, at Netball SA headquarters over the weekend, there was Eyre Peninsula folk everywhere. Plenty of maroon getting around. It's unmissable, that maroon. Sends shivers down my spine still. Lots of Eastern Eyre folk getting around as well, and Joe Franklin, lots of Port Lincoln folk as well. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing really well, thanks, Jace. And yes, I believe you were wandering around there having a good look. And so, yeah, there was plenty of Eyre Peninsula people over there. There's no question about that. And, they all did relatively well considering.
They did, yeah. I missed the Saturday, but I was there Sunday, Monday. Managed to see the B-grade grand final between Great Flinders and Whyalla, I think it was. We'll get to that in a minute. But obviously, throughout the age groups, we're going to focus in on Great Flinders and Eastern Eyre for the sake of our listeners. But just before we do, as a proud Port Lincoln Association president, how did the Port Lincoln teams go?
Oh, look, we were pretty proud, especially of our little babies, our little 13s. There's a couple of bottom ages, so, they've got another crack next year, some of them, but they actually played through to the semi-final, and they won that, which was fantastic. They then went on to the prelim final, and we lost to Barossa, Light and Gawler, who are a very big association. They were quite tall, and they just were, look, our little girls, no, you can't make excuses, but they had played nearly 13 games up to that time, and they were pretty tired, and unfortunately we went down. But Barossa, Light and Gawler went on and actually won the carnival, so not so bad when you lose to the eventual winner. Our 15s, they had a pretty good carnival. They won. Their first goal was to make the Div 1 finals, and they did that. Unfortunately, they lost their first final by 3 in Div 1, so that was a bit disappointing. So that meant that they finished 6th in Div 1. And then the 17s, they didn't have a win on the first day. They were absolutely so despondent. But then they came back on the second day and they won, and they were able to get themselves through to a Div 2 semi-final. But unfortunately, they lost that. And I've got a feeling that Carrinarra went on and played in the grand final in the 17.
Yes, they did. They won the 17. I think they won the 17 twos.
17 Div 2s. I've got a feeling that they did. So not. Two out of the 3 lost to the eventual winner, so that's not too bad. So we were pretty proud of them. But the big thing we were really proud of over the weekend, Jason, was that Julie Glass, one of our way back umpires, she sat for her B badge and she got it. So we're very, very proud of her for doing that. She hasn't done any umpiring really in Adelaide up until the weekend, and she did really well. She got it straight off the first game that she did. They gave it to her. So well done to Jules. We're really proud of her, and I will talk about an umpire the Great Flinders will be pretty proud of too when we get to that.
Fantastic. Well, let's have a look at it. We'll start with the under-13s for Great Flinders and Eastern Eyre and go through their weekends. So in the 13 and unders, I'll get the terminology right. It's not under-13s, it's 13 and under. They both had teams in this competition. There were 3 pools. So many teams for these little babies, and
absolutely,
they just filled the courts.
Yeah, they did. And look, the Great Flinders 13 and unders, they won 2 games for the carnival. Unfortunately, they were a little bit out of their league. They did have a really good win against KI, and they were pretty happy with that, but they didn't get through to finals. And unfortunately for the Eastern Eyre 13 and unders, they also didn't have the most successful carnival, but they certainly will take things away, and it was a really good experience for them. And, what they learn from going away and competing at that level is just how much extra work they have to do to get up to that level. But and unfortunately, neither Eastern Eyre didn't make the finals in the 13 unders either. So a little bit disappointing, but it's all about the experience.
It is. Different story in the under-15s though, particularly for Great Flinders. They were placed in Pool B. And I believe I think they won half a dozen games out of the 10 pool matches and managed to get them through to finals.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Great Flinders 15 and unders. They won 6 games out of their 10 in the, as you said, in Pool B. They then went on to play Port Augusta in the Div 1 quarter final. Unfortunately, they lost that, so they didn't go any further. And again, I think that
Port Augusta went on to win that one.
Yeah, they did. Port Augusta went on to win it.
They beat Western Border in the final. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. I did actually watch that on live stream. But so that I think that makes the Great Flinders 15 unders would have finished 6th, I think, in Div 1.
Yep.
And Eastern Airs 15 and under Div 1s, they played through and won enough games to get into the Division 2 finals, and they played River Murray in the quarterfinal in the Div 2s, and unfortunately they lost that game, so that was the end of their carnival. But they're pretty happy with the fact that they got through to that final. So both lots of 15s made it through to finals, so pretty happy with that.
Yeah, under 17s. Now, a slightly different setup in the 17s. A few less teams here, so they only had 2 pools, I believe, in the end.
Yep.
Now, did both Great Flinders and Eastern Air have teams in this one?
Yes, they did. So Great Flinders, they're 17 and unders. They were pretty happy with them. They won 6 games out of the 11. They then went on to play. That put them into Div 2 for finals. They actually played Eastern Air in the quarterfinal, and they beat Eastern Air in the quarterfinal. They then went on to play Karinara Port Tatiara in the prelim final. They lost to them, but K&T went on and won the Division 2 17 and unders at any rate. So not so bad when you lose to the eventual winner. And unfortunately for the 17 and unders, they went down to Great Flinders in the quarterfinal. So in what was a pretty good game actually.
Fantastic. They had for both of them to be able to make finals, first of all, and being in the top half of the comp is an achievement just in itself, because that was a hot comp, I can tell you.
Oh, it was a hot comp. I'm going to be a little bit controversial here, Jason, but it was hot comp. The games were close throughout, but I wasn't really 100% sure that the standard was up to what it has been in the past. I just thought a little bit of the skill level was perhaps not there.
Well, it might be the case across the board. I was talking to a couple of coaches, and we're talking about a group of girls now that have missed 2 years of development through the pandemic. So. They're playing catch-up at this point, some of these girls, and that's why I think across the board, talking to a few coaches, we didn't see in the juniors, we did in the seniors, but in the juniors we didn't see these dominant sides winning by massive margins that we've seen in the past.
No, we didn't. I think you're exactly right, and the coaches are right. These girls are doing catch-up, and the 17s have certainly also missed out on academy this year as well.
Yep.
So there's been a lot of skill development that they have not necessarily had as they've come through, like others have in the past. I think that's something that we really do need to look at as a sport, that there's going to have to be some catch-up played.
I would agree.
I think the skill level has dropped off.
I would definitely agree with that. But I'd tell you what, it meant for some fascinating netball. It was, as the tournament got on, there was lots of turnovers, and the goalies were battling just to get some sort of consistent accuracy going on. The defenders were loving life. There was some very low scores amongst them.
There were. That's one of the things. That I really noticed was that. But anyway, it's all great learning for them. And both associations also had senior teams.
They did, and I'll tell you what, this was a different story. These girls put on monster scores.
Yeah, they did. I thought the senior comp was really good, actually, this year. Some very interesting results in winning and losing over the first day was very interesting. But for Great Flinders, their senior, that unfortunately for them, they were hit with injuries. Ella Wedd, knee, gone, game 2, losing your top goaler is not a good way to continue a tournament. Your tallest goalie, I should suggest, because they still had Ilka, who held them in so many games. It was amazing. And then on the last game on the Saturday, Morgan McDonald went down with an ankle, and it may be more serious than what she thought even. So they were 2 players down before they even started Sunday. So for them to go on and win the games that they did and then end up playing in the finals was amazing. However, they, in their semi-final, had to play Eastern Eyre, so we can talk about both of them at the same time, I guess, Jace, but they lost Lauren Symes to COVID Sunday morning. So they're tall as well. They're tall goaler as well. Look, this game, it changed. The lead changed so many times throughout it. The momentum changed so many times, but you can't beat experience. And in the last 30 seconds of the game, Ilka Stone just stood up and decided that they weren't going to, Great Flinders were not going to lose, that she was going to play in another grand final at Country Champs. And there was also a turnover through the centre court, and they ended up winning 30-29 after Eastern Eyre had led for most of the final of the second half. So well done to Great Flinders. They got over the line. That then took them into the grand final against Whyalla, and this was another cracking game, a change of momentum and change of scores. It was just it was a really good game and some very good skills demonstrated, and anybody who stayed to watch that game certainly got their money's worth. But, and in the end, Whyalla did win the Div.
They did. Yep.
Yeah.
I saw the last 10 minutes of it, and I'd tell you what, Great Flinders pressed as only Great Flinders can, but you've got to take your hat off to the Whyalla girls. I didn't actually realise what the uniform was. I've not seen Whyalla at the Country Championships before, so I was trying to work out who it was they were playing.
Very much like Eastern Ayres.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It got me thinking that they were playing each other in the final. And, yeah, it wasn't to be, obviously. It was Whyalla, but a cracking game. Well done, Whyalla, for hanging on, but gee whiz, Great Flinders couldn't have done much more with what they had at their disposal at that point.
No, they could not. You don't lose 2 players of that calibre, and just to make it to the grand final, let alone hang in there for as long as they did in that game. 21-18, anybody's game. So that's basically the wrap for Country Carnival for 2022.
All right, there you go. Let's have a look at the A grade now in Clubland. We're going back to Clubland this weekend, and we'll preview the A grade matches in both Great Flinders and Eastern Ayre for this weekend. So those that are fit enough to do so will be heading back to their clubs after representing the Maroons last week. I'm tipping there might be a few that might just have a rest.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see how a couple of the girls have pulled up. Look, perhaps we'll start with Ramblers. They take on Lock here in Cummins, and they actually, after forfeiting their last match, just about back to full strength. So they're looking forward to being really quite competitive against Lock. Mind you, Lock are really putting it together. There's no doubt about the fact that Lisa Burrows has made a big difference to that side. A big target in goals and also accurate. The accuracy is right up there. So I think that Ramblers will be pushing it, but at least they've got a full team, and at least they're getting out there and they're having a crack. They've got a nice mixture through the centre court. Sally Cabot will be running through the centre with them, and Georgia Nurse will be in there as well. They've got Paige Darlitz, and Katie Hasma is back from COVID. So they'll have that combination in the defence end, which is true and tried. So, hopefully those girls will have a good one in there. And, it's going to be tough against Lisa and them, but I'm sure that they're going to give it everything they've got. But, yeah, I actually think that Lock will probably come out with the win in this one.
All right. Now, Ayr United taking on United Yolanda. I tell you what, can we get the Saints a win here? It's at Karku, I know, but the Saints are every chance to win this one.
Yeah, look, they are, and I really would like to tip them. And I've hummed and hard about this most of the day, Jace, because Cassie Maxfield is the difference in this game. If Ayr United can actually get their ball movement nice and tidy and can zip it into the goalies, then Cassie will be having her head turning left, right and centre, and they might just be able to get the ball through her. if they become a little bit erratic and not really disciplined with their passing and try to get, move the ball just too quickly, Cassie will be all over that and the turnovers will happen. I actually think, no pressure, Cass, but I actually think that she will be the difference in this game. If she fronts up, then I think she will be the difference in the game.
All right. Well,
I honestly think this could be a draw. I really do. I just think that it's going to be a very close game.
Speaking of a draw, Tumby Bay will be sniffing blood here, I reckon, because there's a few Cougars girls a bit sore from the weekend, and they did Maroons proud. But Tumby Bay, they'll have a few sore girls as well. But I think they've probably pulled up a little bit better from some of the Cougars girls, from what I hear.
Yeah, look, Ilka will be sore with what she did in the over in Country Carnival. Like, she just heard they only had 2 goalies left in the end, for nearly all the carnival, and both of them happened to be the Tumby goalies. So, like, Sarah and Ilka played a lot of netball. They will be tired, and they will be sore. But I would have thought that their coaching staff would make sure that they had recovery this week and that they will be raring to go on Saturday. I just think that losing Ella Wedd and Morgan will be huge for Cougars, but I also know that in the wings they have Ruby Green, who's been playing with Hannah anyway and been playing really well in there, and they've got young Billy Thompson. I'm guessing they'll bring into the centre core, and she's had a couple of A-grade runs now. So I actually think that they've probably got the depth that other clubs wouldn't have to field 2 players like that, but. In the end, I reckon Tumby Bay, this is their opportunity.
Yep, I think you're right, but I can't tip against the champs until someone beats them. So,
no, exactly.
And Elliston Districts, they get to put their feet up this weekend, and they'll probably be looking forward to that. Although back-to-back buys is never great for those that don't go off to country champs.
No, it's not. But anyway, they'll be having a look at themselves and making sure that they stay on track and come back into it next week, I have no doubt. But they'll be watching those games with great interest, I think, because the results of those games may well decide the 3rd and 4th position.
Yep. All right. Eastern Eyre Netball, the bye team is Cal. They'll have the week off. And at Ports, Eastern Rangers will travel down the highway. And they're heading to Port Neale, not Arno Bay. And I'd never understood why Eastern Rangers, when they play away, don't play at Arno Bay. It just makes sense, almost like a home game for both teams, really.
Look, programming is not my expertise.
No, and it's not mine either. So,
but I do know that
there must be a reason.
Yeah. Well, Port Neale need to have a couple of home games throughout the season. So I'm guessing that that was just the way the program fell. Yep. I'm not 100% sure, but certainly. It would be closer for them to do Arno, but they are doing Port Neale. And look, Eastern Rangers, I'm guessing Lauren may or may not be out of lockdown. I'm not 100% sure. If she's not out and she doesn't play on Saturday, then Ports should take that opportunity and really run with it. But regardless of that, Eastern Rangers have the depth that unfortunately Ports don't have. And as I said last week, poor Chloe Wake, their coach, did her her knee, ACL, and is out for the rest of the season, so she can't even fill in for them. Look, they are just struggling to get any consistency, Ports, unfortunately. Just being able to get the same 7 together 2 weeks in a row hasn't happened for them yet. So they're trying, they're certainly trying, and they're working really hard, but Eastern Rangers, something which I omitted to say, Jordan Hooper from the Eastern Rangers seniors actually made the top 10 at Country Champ.
Yes.
So that was fantastic, and congratulations to Jordan. Eastern Rangers still have way too much height, I think, and will come away with a pretty good win, I think, against Ports.
All right. Match of the round, I reckon, in netball terms, anywhere on the peninsula is at, I think it's at Kimber this time, but Central Eyre United taking on Kimber Districts, and this will be a beauty. There was only 6 goals in it last time they played. I tell you what, if the Storm are on, they're a chance here against Kimber Districts, but Kimber are still a very good unit.
They are a very good unit, and they are putting it together quite nicely. A couple of young ones in there who have really stepped up. So, which is really good to see. It's great to see the young kids come in and stand up. It's fantastic. But look, Central United are just about full strength. So I have heard on the grapevine. So again, when they're at full strength, they're really quite tall and quite strong. And I would be thinking that their goalie end is going to have to work extremely hard against the Kimber defenders. But they do match the height at that end. So, this could be really interesting. And I wouldn't be counting Central Eyre United out by any means. But I think in the end, again, you can't beat experience. And the fact of playing together, and that's probably what the advantage that Kimber will have on Saturday, I think.
Agreed. Yeah, it should be a cracking game. But there you go. That's a wrap of netball across the peninsula. Well, Joe, anything else?
Yeah, there actually is. I mentioned about Julie Glass from Port Lincoln getting her B-grade badge.
Yes.
Erica Larwood from Great Flinders, from Tumby Bay. She was also awarded her B badge at Country Carnival, which is fantastic, and congratulations to Erica. I do believe that young Samson lad went as well is it Warramboo way, through there? And unfortunately he's been umpiring for a couple of years now, but he unfortunately didn't get his, but got lots of really good feedback, and is certainly going to build on that. And we have umpires from Adelaide coming over throughout the rest of the season, who will be able to do some grading, and he may well get an opportunity to have another chance at that. But well done to both Erica and Julie, because it's no mean feat to get your B badge, so well done to Eyre as well.
Good stuff. Well done to them. Umpires, linesmen, ball boys, we're done. Look forward to catching up with you, Joe, again next week. And until then, enjoy the netball back in action this weekend.
We certainly will, Jace. You take care.